So we don't all have the same 24 hours in a day. It really irks me when I keep hearing people say, oh, you have the same 24 hours as Elon Musk does. No, you don't. Elon Musk has 400 people working for him. He has all their 24 hours as well. So this hustle culture that was created, that we live in, that we are often operating in with pride, has created this expectation that you as an individual should be creating and producing the same amount as Elon Musk or someone at that level of production. And I want to say right here, right now, that's bullshit. We don't all have the same 24 hours in a day. Now, you do have 24 hours in your day, and it is your responsibility to hold your time accountable to you instead of you being held accountable to your time. So many of my clients come to me in crisis and overwhelm. They've got 20 million things to do. The busy but broke. They're running around, they're doing this and that, but they're not reaping the rewards. They do not have the time that they need or want to spend with their friends and their family. And even more importantly, they're in crisis mode with their own personal self, with their mental and physical wellness. So there's some amazing tools that can help you immediately right now, as soon as you are done watching this quick little program. I'm doing a webinar today for our success certification program that this is going to be part of. So if you're interested in getting certified as a success coach, and really I call it the success coaching transformation, not the certification, because no one goes into that and comes out the same way. It's very powerful. It is 4 very intense days. I highly recommend it. I support Coach in it. And in my bio, you will see a link to find out more information on that. But right now, let's get you some time back in your schedule. Let's take that flexibility. And if you're in real estate, you got into this business to have flexibility. And if you honestly asked yourself, how flexible is your time? Are you using that flexibility to just accommodate other people? Or using that flexibility to support your life, to support the balance and counterbalance in your life? So right now, we're going to jump into Stephen Covey's time matrix. And you may have seen this before, you may have not seen this before, but basically everything that is on your to-do list, on your daily schedule, is going to fit into one of these 4 quadrants. Quadrant number 1 is that urgent quadrant. Like, it's got to get done. The deadline is here. You knew you should have gotten working on it last week, but it's literally due in 2 hours. And now you're scrambling to work on it now. These are the crisis, the pressing problems, the deadlines. When you are operating in this quadrant, the results are stress, burnout, crisis management, and you're always putting out fires. Does that feel like you? Do you feel like you're always putting out fires? Are you managing your people, or are you leading your people? Because if you're managing them, you're probably putting out fires. If you're leading them, you're going to be working more into quadrant 2, which is ideally the quadrant that we want to be spending the most of our time in. These are things that are important, but they're not urgent, right? They need to get done, but they don't have to get done this second. You can spend the time that you need. And I say spend time because time is truly money. I don't agree with swapping time for money, but time is money. You are spending that time. You're spending that 24-hour bank worth of time every time you make a decision to say yes to something or no to something. So quadrant 2, when you are capable of setting the time that you need to do the tasks at hand, this is where you do your planning and your recreation, true recreation, things that you enjoy with the people that you enjoy. This is where you can recognize new opportunities, right? How many of you felt like opportunity was knocking, but you had too much going on? You were putting out too many fires over here to go open that door and see what it looked like. Relationship building. This is the most important. Everyone loves to talk about accountability, but I want you to remember and really think about this. You are accountable to people, including yourself, and you're responsible to tasks. So all of the tasks, all of the craziness that's in the rest of the day, those are your responsibilities. You're not accountable to them. You're accountable to the people that they affect, and you're accountable to how it's going to affect you as well. So that relationship building, so important. And then prevention capability, and improvement. So time in this is looking at how can you improve your systems? How can you prevent getting into crisis mode, into quadrant number 1? So quadrant number 2, that's really where we want to be working. These are important things, but they're not urgent. Quadrant number 3, these are things that are not important and that you are just keeping yourself busy with, and you have this false sense of that they're important, but most likely things in quadrant 3 can either be eliminated or delegated. And this is where you start to increase that 24 hours in the day. This is where you can be the Elon Musk, where you can look at what are the things that you're doing that would fall into quadrant 3. So interruptions, getting sucked into email every time you hear that ding go off. Some meetings, there's a lot of people that want to grab time on your calendar and it just isn't qualify or quantify to take a 15-minute Zoom. This could be a 2-minute phone call. This could be something that's completely eliminated and fixed with an email. Pressing matters, popular activities. So social media, things that you might feel FOMO, fear of missing out on, but aren't necessarily the true in your soul core things you want to be doing, like the recreation up here. So quadrant 3, short-term focus, you're in crisis management. Your reputation, this is where people you're trying to put out a certain reputation and you're just becoming a chameleon. You're at other people's whim. You're becoming who you think they want you to be. It's exhausting. That is not a place to live long-term. There is no longevity there. I have a great story about one of my coaching clients came to our call furious. He was convinced he was getting off the call, calling his family member, his cousin, and ripping him a new one. And that was his words. And he was so angry because the cousin had posted on social media that they had sold their family home and he had bought a townhouse. And he did not use my client, which was his cousin. And my client was furious, absolutely furious. And as we started to talk through it, and I had background with him because we had been coaching for 6 months at this point. I was seeing his Facebook post about how busy he was, about how other agents were idiots and no one knew how to do their job. And I could see this chameleon character that he was creating online, making him look like he was very important. But what he was actually doing was creating a false quadrant number 1 to the external world. So they just saw him as busy, busy, busy. And what happened was this cousin's mother, who happened to be his mom's sister, they were always talking about how busy this client was and how he's just running himself ragged. And yeah, he was having great success. But what happened was this family did not want to put more stress on him by adding a sale of their house and a purchase of a townhouse. So this agent, my client, had created this false reality. He was not living in it himself, and he lost out over $1.5 million in sales, number 1. But the bigger pain point was that he didn't get to help his family. And he was about to call and ream his family out. But the bottom reality is that they just did not want to put more on his plate because this is what he was putting out there. So I really urge you, look at what your social media looks like. Look at what your language sounds like. When someone's saying to you, like, oh, you're so busy, you're so busy. I always say, like, yeah, I've got a lot going on, but I am not too busy. And I love this, and this is what I do. And please, I'm ready to take on more, because we want people to know that we are able to help them if it's the right fit. Now, there's a lot of things that we need to say no to as well. And that's what coaching does. Coaching is going to allow you to get clarity on what your priorities are, to get clarity around the filters that you must apply when you're deciding what to say yes to and what to say no to. And then quadrant 4, real quick, this is trivia, busy work, some emails, personal social media. Now, I am a believer in social media. I do a lot of business on social media, but we all know we can get sucked down the drains in social media. So having some time restraints on that, having purpose when we're going onto social media, that can move social media from this quadrant to this quadrant. Some phone calls, time wasters. I call this between quadrant 3 and quadrant 4 is like Canva stuff, right? We love to create our postcards if you're in sales, or go on and create things that look pretty. But the truth is probably spending way more time there than necessary. And it is a task that could be delegated, which would be in quadrant 3. So time wasters, and then pleasant activities. Now, that doesn't mean you're not going to have fun and enjoy pleasant things, but we want to make sure that we are not creating this false sense of quadrant 1 or quadrant 3 by filling the majority of our time with quadrant 4 actions. And results here are total irresponsibility. They have fired from jobs, but here's where I see it in real estate. You flunk out of real estate. You get in, you have high hopes. You watch $1 million listing. You believe you're going to be the next $1 million agent. And the truth is that you can be. You can be the next $1 million agent. But here's the reality. 89% of agents are failed back out of the industry in the first 2 years. And I say failed out because that is it. They are not treating their time like this is a business. They're operating in quadrant 4 and quadrant 3, especially agents that have other part-time jobs. Those part-time jobs where they have to punch a clock, guess what? They're showing up at those hours. But in real estate where you don't have to punch the clock, how many hours are you really putting into your business? And what are you looking to reap from that? So it's really a reality check. So that is a very quick overview of the Stephen Covey time matrix. We go into this much more in depth. And the most important thing is that this is a tool. But if you have not done the work to get the clarity about what your responsibilities are, where you want to be accountable, how committed you are, and then how to apply those filters and what you're going to say yes to, what you're going to say no to, what you're going to delete from your calendar, what you're going to delegate, what you're going to schedule, and then what you're going to take action on, then this is all just a bunch of lip service. So please know, hustle culture, please throw it out the window. I have a lot of other words that I'm going to choose not to use right now with hustle culture, but you absolutely can get everything done that you need to get done. But it's going to require that you say no to some things and to some people. And we need to make sure that we are saying yes to ourselves and to the people that are closest to us and the people that we have our accountability to and for. So if you want to learn more about time management, if you want to learn more about the accountability and how to apply that to your life and take care of yourself, take care of your family, spend time with your friends, make great money, be able to open up those doors when opportunity comes knocking, and get the heck out of this overwhelm that so many of you are living in. It is unhealthy. The stress, what that does to your body, what that does to your wellness, how that affects the rest of your success wheel, which is another great tool that I love to talk about and teach. I promise you, there is a way to your best life. And it is way simpler than you think. You just need to take the expertise that I have and my fellow coaches have and learn how to apply it to what it is that is important to you in your life. And you will have life-changing experiences within the first 4 days. Promise you that. If you don't believe me, challenge me. Let's get on a call. Let's get time together to discover what your next step is. Anyway, hope you got some value out of this Stephen Covey time matrix. I'll be teaching it later today, and have a fabulous one. Until next time, bye for now.